Hi, it's nice meeting you. So, today we talk about an interesting topic which I have learned across years working in different stages of companies. And the topic for today is how do we go about setting up a data science project, or basically, how do we bring new interesting data features into our whole product which we are trying to build. So, it starts with you have to be really clear about what's the business objective that we are going to target by solving this problem. So, for example, if you are building a recommendation system for something, you need to know what's the objective behind putting this recommendation system together. So, is it like it's more revenue for the company, or it's like the customer will get better suggestions, or in most cases it's like multiple of the reasons, and then we have to decide on take a call which one do you approach first before going to like tackle multiple of them. So, step one, be very clear about what's the business objective that the problem you're trying to solve will actually solve. So, once you're clear with that, then you go to the second step, which is basically seeing what data is being collected related to this problem in the whole ecosystem and try to do analysis on top of that data and see what kind of interesting numbers or metric you can come up with and discuss with all the stakeholders and come up with the metric that really needs to be optimized for, and that has to align with the business objective, not to say uh, it has to. So once these two steps are complete, then you get to the third stage, where you start thinking about very simple models like average based models, popularity based models. So idea of this stage is to kind of understand how the whole engineering setup uh, will be put together so that this kind of system or this kind of solution can go live. Plus, what's the basic numbers which, or what's the average numbers which exist at this stage, and what's the current performance with these average numbers? Because at the end, all your complex machine learning models or AI models which you're going to bring into the ecosystem has to beat this number. If this number is not beaten, it's an additional cost. Like putting machine learning models in production is cost. Like I'll take make another video on what's the cost behind all these models and how to think about them. But for now, you can think about that you need to make very simple models as part of this stage, mostly popularity based models, so that you can kind of gauge what's the current performance, what's the current distribution of things look like. And once you pass the stage 3, then you go to stage 4, where you uh, where you try out multiple offline models and calculate the different offline metric that's more relevant, and establish some kind of directional relation between your offline model metric and the actual business metric which we decided, and then run through like offline simulations and see which one are the good contenders which can beat these average numbers which we calculated in the previous step. Once this is done, you have few contenders, okay, like these are kind of beating the average numbers and you would want to try out. Then you have to go to your AB experimentation stage, where you run these models on some small population for some time of interval, so that you can see whether they are actually performing in the real world or not. Like, remind you, the simulations which we do in the offline world, they can be a little different from what you will actually see in the real world, because the distribution might change, or it's very hard to capture the whole variation in the distribution. So offline is a good indication to see what can do better, but there's no guarantee that it will be there in the real production. So once that is done, then you think about full-fledged productionizing of your model, which I'll make another video on. So, again, to summarize, first you need to really deeply understand what's the main business objective that it will solve. And second, some metric which everybody aligns on. If that improves, your model is a success or your project is a success. Third, go about a very simple model, which is popularity average price model, and try to get some benchmark numbers which your complex model has to beat. Fourth, try out multiple models in the offline stage and calculate their offline metric and try to directionally relate it with the real business metric. Next, run A/B experiments to see which one of the selected ones are performing good. And the last is we go to productionizing. So if you can structure your AI projects or machine learning projects in this way, there are high chances you will come to a good result. Like you might find something meaningful. Otherwise, it's a big world of unknowingness, and you can like delve into endless models and try out stuff, but you won't know whether they are really good or they're not good, or it's just a fascination you're trying out. So, do let me know what you think about all these. Thank you.